Well, welcome back to the Kilted Texan, and today this is probably a very niche video, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how to replace this battery in an iPhone 5. And I know most people won't have them, most of them throw them away or broken them by now. This one is actually a Dashcam that I use in my excursion, and the battery is so dead that even if you plug it in, it still does not actually boot. It gets to a point where it's trying to boot, and I guess the battery goes flat enough where it then starts to reboot over again. So I'm going to replace the battery in her with this kit that I got from Amazon, and we're going to try to get her back and working. So we'll see on the other side of this one. Well, this is what looks to come in the kit. These items in the center seem to be like adhesive strips. Comes with the screwdrivers you need, and the little pry tools, and a suction cup, and more pry tools. And then this seems to be a nice little funny accessory to put on the back of your iPhone there to make it stand up so you can, watch movies and what have you on it. So this is what comes in the kit along with the battery itself. But we're going to use that pentalobe screwdriver to open up this iPhone 5. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take that suction cup, and we're going to make sure that she is firmly affixed right there. So there we go, she's firmly affixed. Then we grab one of these, the pentalobe screwdriver. And I don't know if you can see the end on that right there, but that is an unusual screwdriver because it fits in those screws right there, and those are not normal screws. There we go. Well, maybe not such a great photo, but anyway, so they're gonna go in there, and we're gonna go ahead and open her up. Now, one thing I do like to do, and the screws are up here. One thing I like to do, this is an old hard drive magnet out of a laptop hard drive, and of course, with an SSD, you ain't gonna get these, but this is an old hard drive magnet, and just to keep my screws together, I like to have this a magnet so that I can go ahead and just put them on there so that they don't roll around, won't roll off the table and go missing. And now, as you can see, she's starting to separate a little bit. You put a little bit of pressure on it. Now, one thing for sure, now this is really hard to do with one hand, but one thing you want to make sure to do is you do not want to push this up past 90 degrees, or you're going to rip some cables out that are in there. So just be real careful when you lift it up. I want to lift it up to about 90 degrees, so straight up, and you won't rip those cables out that are in there. Now, just to get her to separate, what might be better is if you pull up and you get one of those plastic spudger things to open that up. So we'll get in there and we'll kind of work our way around and open that up a little bit better to get that thing to separate, because she could be stuck together pretty well, and you don't want to break the screen trying to open it. And there she goes, and you can see the little metal tabs on the side. They kind of hold it together. So she is finally open. And again, you don't want to go past, I don't know, really about that far. It's not quite 90 degrees, but that's the battery we want to take out of there. And if you'll see the two screws right there, those are the screws we want to pull out, because that's the battery lead that goes over here. So we'll pop that spudger and we'll actually lift this up with that plastic deal. We don't want to put any metal parts in here, any metal, because you don't want anything to short out and make it unhappy. I know we lifted those three screws out, and just to show you, they are tiny little dudes. So we want to make sure we keep track of them there. The two standing up are the pentalobes. Then the one on the left, there's the one on the left, the one in the middle, and then the one that's actually stuck to the top of that Phillips head screwdriver. Those are the ones, and those are in the order. That one in the middle is slightly different, so that's why I keep it in the middle there on that magnet, and make sure she doesn't go away. And make sure I keep it in the right order. And as you can see, I done goofed. I did not have to take out that top screw, so I'm going to put it back before I lose it. So it's just that single little metal plate that pops out. So what you do is just get that non-metal spudger just right underneath the edge there and just gently work it out and just pop that little flap. Just pop that little flap right there. And then probably gonna have to fight some glue or some tape strips on the back of this battery to get it out. I'm not gonna put any glue back on it when I put it back, just because this battery fits in there pretty snug and it ain't gonna move around too much. And essentially, I'm just kind of prying on this on the outside. And be careful what you pry on. You don't want to pry against those electronics. You might break something. So just pry on that outside aluminum and she'll pop right, well, I say pop right out. She'll pop out soon enough. Well, as we can see, this battery's pretty swollen, pretty damaged. So yeah, it was time to come out of that dude anyway. So no big strains. So we just set that little dude back in there, and then that'll just pop right on top of that. Again, kind of not being able to use both hands makes it a little bit difficult to precision set that. Don't force it. It will pop in. No, no problem. Just do not force it. Take your time. Make sure that it's lined up, and it'll pop right in there, and you'll know it when it does. In fact, a little trick that I did is I actually kind of moved the battery pretty close, actually popped that down in there, and then set the battery down in so that it would actually work into place and get that cable into place and everything else. Like I said, I'm not going to put any glue or any tape or anything on it, because there's really no point. I mean, it sticks in there real good. And the other thing is, this isn't going to be jabbling around in my pocket. It's dash cam, gets fixed to the windshield and stays there, so I don't need it. So we're going to press on and get these two screws and that little plate back in there. So now we just pop that plate right back up on top. Close the phone down and just start kind of working working this back in here. Really nice and simple. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to have to use both hands for this. Sorry about that. Now, you may have to use a little persuasion. I had to use my thumbs, right on this edge to get this to push down in here. Because what'll happen is sometimes this will slide down just a skosh, making it almost impossible to get this in. So you need to make sure, when you get it, push it, make sure it's good and solid up here, and then maybe use your thumbs to push, kind of in this direction, back this way, to make sure that it's pushed up and then down into the groove. But it'll pop in there, and just make sure you work your way around and pop all of that in, and then we'll put the two pentalobe screws down in the bottom down here. Now that those two pentalobe screws are down back in the bottom of that, we can go ahead and fire her up and see how she clicks. And there we go. That's all she takes. She wouldn't even boot before, but now she's just happy as a clam. So if you like this video, just letting you know, if you can go ahead and subscribe for more of this kind of junk, and make sure that if you're going to crash into that like button, and we'll see you on the next one.